This week on #PoolGuy.
We're talking concrete with Justin, Brian, and Splash. So this is the most exciting time that a homeowner gets excited when they see their pool. The finished product starts coming to fruition here. So this is where we start blasting in the water and ready to start backfilling. So guys, as you can see, we got our pool obviously in the ground. We're starting to put stone around the pool. Right now we're forming up and getting ready in this phase for our concrete. So our awesome concrete guy, Jason Wilson, in town here, he's awesome at what he does as far as all the looks we do. We do anything from brush concrete to stamped concrete. Our company, we do not install any kind of pavers. We think they can be messy, the sand can get gritty over time. It's just something we don't like to deal with and do. But this pool specifically is going to get a stamped border, and that's what I want to talk to you about right now in this phase. As we're prepping this right now, there are some pools that get a CP2 coping or a cantilever, or some call it a Stagmeyer coping. On the front of this coping here, you either pour up to a coping that we install on top of the pool, which is a lot of your standard residential pools you'll see with white coping. This pool will not get any of that. This pool will be nothing but a bullnose of concrete. So what we're going to do with this one specifically, we'll have 4 inches up and it will come down and grade. So the rule is we do 1.5 inches fall for every 10 feet, but for this, we're going to do an 18-inch skin border around this pool with a stamp on it. And what that is our Jason will come out, they'll form it up, and one day they'll pour this stamp around here. It gets messy, it's labor intensive, a little difficult, but in the end product, it comes out and looks really, really good.
This week on #PoolGuy.
So a quick backtrack on the last couple of days regarding the Aspen model Thursday Pools Fiberglass install. Brian handled the plumbing system, which is composed of lights, returns, jets, and the skimmer housing.
The hole has been cut. It's not quite large enough, so I'm going to go ahead and extend it just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. I'm going to try to do it from the outside because the inside is nerve-wracking.
Both cutting out the holes required for every independent line, using a silicone epoxy to hold them in place, and then running the lines to where they all meet up at the intended equipment pad.
See, that was about right, 90 straight up.
On the outside, bring everything up to there.
Yep.
While Justin checked, double-checked, triple-checked, and quadruple-checked the base layer backfill that all of Brian's plumbing will sit on initially. Then to solidify the backfill, Brian got into the Bobcat while Justin directed him on where to pour the stone grading and then used a concrete rake to sift it level. These kinds of installs require a team effort and good communication. Sometimes a third party gets stuck in the mix.
There we go. Push that me mash. Can you hold it there? Let me pin onto it with a Bobcat, I'll push you up. Oh, shit. There we go. Woo! Hang up, man, woo!
Normally though, we get those handled without too much of a setback. And now, Brian and Justin are excited to talk with you about this pool that they just finished backfill and grading on.
So, we want to talk about some of the unique features that we're working with here, and we want to educate you a little bit. What are you thinking? What's going on with the pool over here? What do they call that?
Tanning ledge?
A tanning ledge, that's right. With bench seating, nice tanning ledge, big, adequate for, multiple people, either that or a kiddie pool. Kids can be on it, they can splash, they can play, they can do their things, it's great. Shallow, parents can have their area plus the bench seating to sit around and enjoy a cool one while you're swimming. in this hot, wonderful weather. Justin, you want to take them over here and show them what this big green giant tube is?
Well, it's not a well for your kids to fall in or get trapped.
Good Lord.
It's it's not for a dog to fall in and get trapped. No. Hello. It's not a wishing well either. What this is for is to allow us to know what groundwater is underneath this pool. So this is actually a safety thing for your fiberglass pool. When this is all said and done, when we're framing up and finished with concrete, and Jason Wilson, our concrete guy, they'll cut this off to grade, and we will have a skimmer lid just like our skimmer over there. So this is more than a safety feature, and we always recommend keeping it screwed down so no kids or any animals, anything can't ever get in there unless we ever need to get in there and see what's going on with groundwater. Hydrostatic pressure around the pool is what this is. So they always recommend with a fiberglass swimming pool, you should never drain a fiberglass pool without talking to a pool professional. Now, moving on over to the plumbing, I want Brian to show you guys why we have
individual line plumbing.
Oh, why do we have, Brian, all of these lines? What are these? This is so many.
These are our lights right here, and they're on separate lines. The reason we do separate lines is so we can contain the chaos if anything happens. So what you're wondering what I mean by that is if you have a leak on one line, we can shut that line down and we can fix that one line instead of where other companies or other places will run all your return lines into one line and then bring it back to the pool or the pump. You know, theoretically that's okay, but if something happens on that line, you have to pull that whole line up and all the returns to the pool to fix that problem. Where we have individual lines, and it helps with flow. It increases flow because each line is getting the same amount of flow instead of having to hit a 45 or a 90 to divert its power off to each different place.
Plus, it makes it a lot easier for the homeowner to be able to adjust any returns or anything that they want, or their skimmer when they're trying to vacuum the pool or anything like that. So, and especially if any pools have bottom drains like this fiberglass, most of ours, and depending on the size, we don't put bottom drains in ours. A lot of our vinyl liners we will, but with things like that, we like to have individual, like he said, because one, it's easier for the customer, and two, if there were ever, heaven forbid, be an issue with your pool or that plumbing, it still can work an optimal prime as far as its positioning of the pool running, and it doesn't hinder any kind of flow because you only got one line versus all of them are then shut down. So that's why we choose to do our plumbing this way, to make it more convenient for our homeowners. So we appreciate you guys tuning in to #PoolGuys. Hope you all learned something. We'll see you guys next time.